Hello and welcome. I am Seth Manfield, and I'm going to be playing some MTG Arena today. The deck that I have chosen to play is straight up mono red aggro. I am going to be playing best of 3, and it's a pretty streamlined list. Close friend of mine finished second in a recent open with a very similar list. This is a little bit updated. It is just 20 mountains, not playing the small green splash. We are playing Experimental Frenzy, great late game card, and pretty much just all four-ofs. These are the best cards that Mono Red has to offer. Of course, Chain Whirler, light up the stage. We've got our 3 damage burn plus shocks, and then 20 creatures total. Runaway Steamkin. This one can get completely out of hand if it's not immediately answered. And then we have our 1-drops and some wizards that work with our Wizard's Lightning. Now, as I mentioned, we're playing best of 3. So I think the more interesting aspect of the deck is what to put in the sideboard. Probably one of the most important cards here are the Lava Coils against those creature matchups where you want additional spot removal. Lightning Mare is mostly for mono blue. Can board it in against any type of blue deck. It's going to be really good. The changes I made from Frank's list, I added 1 light up the stage for 1 mountain. I really like 20. This is actually 1 more than the mono red list I played at the Mythic Invitational, but you want that 1 extra land because your sideboard cards can be pretty mana intensive. So in terms of the sideboard from his list, I did go down to 2 Lightning Mares, and I added another map. Treasure Map, I feel like, is really good in a lot of your grindier matchups, and it allows you to play a more controlling game. And then another Fiery Cannonade, great against these Celestia decks that seem to be... Token decks seem to be pretty popular. And I mentioned going bigger. We've actually got 2 Fight with Fires and a Banefire, so those are the types of cards that work pretty well with your treasure map plan. 1 copy of Direfleet Daredevil to round out the list. So that is it. That's the deck. And I'm going to go ahead and battle with it. These will be my first games after the latest reset. So I was Mythic. Won't be Mythic at this particular moment in time. Hopefully I'll rank up a little bit. And this was one of... I did play Mono Red this past weekend at the Mythic Invitational. So it's a deck I have a good amount of experience with. Both best of 1 and best of 3. But I like it in both. So, happy to be playing it here. Now, we do have to be worried about various life gain options after board, but in general, your game 1 matchups are going to be pretty good. This hand, 5 mountains, is just a little bit too much, but we'll keep our 6. It's not the best 6. I'm going to put this Scrying bottom. We've already got 2 lands, which effectively we can cast all of our spells in our hand at the moment. So, yeah, we're going to keep this. Looks like our opponent is playing a ramp strategy. Possibly Gates, like a Teamer Gates deck. Just gonna go upstairs with the shocks. I don't necessarily expect for the burn to be that great in terms of killing creatures. Like, gate stacks often have cards like Growth Chamber Guardian or Gatekeeper Ram as creatures. I think we just play a second Pyromancer. Don't we? I mean, so we've got... I'm a little bit worried about this getting swept away. We've actually got 7, 9, 11 points of burn in hand, which is kind of a lot. If we play this and it gets Gates Ablazed, that's bad for us. So I'm just gonna pass for that reason. And it also guarantees we can cast our Wizard's Lightning. So we can go Wizard's Lightning plus Shock this turn. Now we do have to be worried about the Archway Angel, I think it is, the one that allows our opponent to gain life for each gate that they have. That's the card that we are the most scared of. I guess I play this. It puts our opponent to 5 now. So, I mean, they need to have... They can't just continue to draw cards all game. Our opponent's going to need something big. So, if they play Gates Ablaze this turn, it's bad, but they still need to find an Archway Angel. If they play an Archway Angel, then we're in a really bad spot if they go Archway Angel here. They don't, then there's a pretty decent chance. Okay, so they may be playing the version of the deck that does play Nexus of Fate. So I guess that is still an option for them to just start Nexus of Fating. I'm gonna go with the Shock. And then we don't have lethal, so might as well just hold the other one. Yeah, so they have the Nexus. That's pretty bad news. Only 3 cards in graveyard. Man, we're so close. So close. And we did mulligan this game. The Frenzy, obviously with 3 mountains, is not looking spectacular, let's say. All right, well, if they, I guess they're gonna draw 4 here because they get to untap with the Wilderness Reclamation. So yeah, there's another 4 cards. I guess might as well Shock. Oh, that's a dagger. Plaza of Harmony. That makes it pretty tough to win now. I guess I'll use this. But yeah, our opponent's pretty much just going off. All right. Well, we got them back to 2. So close, yet so very far away. I think I'll scoop it up to another Nexus. I understand I'm not technically dead to that, but it feels... I mean, our opponent's got 25 cards in their deck. Feels like... Yeah, I'm just gonna give that one to our opponent. So, we get to sideboard on the play, no less. Which is a pretty darn good place to be. That being said, this isn't a matchup. It's not a common matchup. So we saw the shocks not perform super great. I actually think Lightning Mare is fine as just a 2-mana 3/1 here, as weird as that is. We just want to be able to pressure our opponent pretty quickly. So I'm at least going to board out a couple shocks. Banefire is okay. It might be better than shock, but we have to close our games pretty quickly. I think our draw, I mean, we're still pretty close to getting there, and Frenzy seems like it should be really good if we get it into play on turn 4. So I'm not going to change that much. That being said, this isn't a matchup I played a ton of. And Gates just isn't like a super popular deck at the moment. But turn 1, 1-mana creature. Turn 2, 2-mana creature. Yes, we have 2 frenzies, which kind of sucks. But we're going to at least force our opponent to have a Gates Ablaze or something to clean up the creatures. I just don't think we have a choice but to play another creature. Like, that's just what our hand is very bad against Gates Ablaze. Like, there's not really a way to play around it. Okay. So we can Lava Runner plus Wizard's Lightning plus Chain Whirler. I mean, actually, I don't think we play the Chain Whirler necessarily. I mean, there's a chance that the Runaway Steamkin just being a... I guess our opponent could have Expansion Explosion. So we wouldn't want... We don't want to give them the opportunity to copy a Wizard's Lightning. I think that that's a card these decks may be playing. So yeah, I'm just gonna attack for 6 and pass. Do we respond to that? I guess so. Still hoping for no gates ablaze. Okay, they didn't have it. So I feel like we're favored on the play, but I don't know if we're favored on the draw. Which is kind of scary because we have to play this game on the draw. Like, some of our cards are just like kind of slow, like Chain Whirler and Frenzy. I think I'm going to take out a couple Chain Whirlers and just board in a couple Shocks, because once we get a Frenzy in play, we want to just be able to cast as many things as possible. Chain Whirler isn't really killing anything in the matchup. So yeah, let's go with that. I think maps are just too slow. Like, they have more card advantage than we do. So I just don't feel like that's a game that we can actually play. So in general, I think on the draw we just have to hope that our opponent stumbles a little bit. This is exactly what we did not want to see. If one mounted, I'd probably keep based on the Fanatical and the Light. Guess we're keeping this. Probably should top the Lightning Mare. Not feeling amazing about this situation. We have a curve, but yeah, I mean, we have a curve. So it's gonna basically just, we're kind of at the mercy of what our opponent does. And that's just the unfortunate, harsh truth of the matter. Okay, they went Ram. I wasn't even positive our opponent would have the Rams in their deck against us. It's pretty good here. I'm going to attack with the Lightning Mare, and then if they block, just Chain Whirler it. Interesting that they did not block. One play we can still make is just Wizard's Lightning the Ram, and then finish it off with Fanatical Firebrand. I think that's the next best option. We are 2-for-1ing ourselves, but if they play another gate, I mean, a 5/5 Ram is really pretty significant. Speak of the devil. There's another Ram. Okay. Well, I'm gonna attack in, because Lightning Mare can just pump itself. But since they're accepting this hit, it's just time to play a Frenzy and hope that Frenzy is kind to us. I'm gonna put a stop in the upkeep just in case we do want to cast the Wizard's Lightning. Not sure that we're gonna want to. I think we're better off, like, paying 3 mana for Wizard's Lightning is just to deal our opponent 3 damage, or like try to hit well. In this particular spot, I don't think is right. Wow. Another frenzy on top. That is really bad for us. I can try to make a bluff attack. I think I will. Our opponent didn't block the previous 2 turns, so it's possible that they don't block here. If they do, it's just a good block. Well done, opponent. I thought there was a chance they wouldn't block, which is why I made the attack, obviously. Not being in a great situation. Also, Lightning Mare as a blocker against a big trampling creature is not that impressive either. So we're gonna have to draw much better. Wow. Okay. Well, we are gonna have to get absurdly lucky here. Okay. So we need like multiple burn spells. Right. Guess I'm pointing this one at Lyra and hoping to get another one. That actually does work, except for the fact that we are probably just dead to the ram. But at least we killed the Lyra. But any gate here, I think it's lethal, so very high likelihood that our opponent just has it. Yeah, there's the 8/8 ram. All right. So yeah, I think that game 1 was the one where, like, if we had a decent draw, that's the one where we put ourselves in a rough spot by losing that. And it just felt like game 3 on the draw, where our opponent is going to have access to their optimal configuration with cards like Lyra in their deck, wasn't a great spot to be in. This is a pretty close hand also. Would love a light up the stage, would love a frenzy to be able to keep this. I don't think we can keep that though. This I think is more of a keep because we just need another land to make it pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty rough. All right. Still right back in it if we draw a land. There we go. Right back in it. I think we want to play Pyromancer. Maybe we play Pyromancer. Like, the nice thing about playing Pyromancer is that it turns on our Wizard's Lightnings. I am a bit worried about the hero. Could just get rid of it. But the way to get rid of it would be Lightning Strike. And that would stop potential triggers this next turn. I'm going to play the Pyromancer. I don't know exactly what's in our opponent's deck. Yeah, that's really good. I figured heroic reinforcements might be one of the cards. That's probably just game, right? What do? We can block. Guess we can... We can kill the heroic reinforcements. But we're taking a lot of damage. Sorry, did I say kill the heroic reinforcements? I meant kill the hero of Precinct 1. Maybe we should have actually just killed one of the knights instead of the hero. We could still peel. I think our out is to draw Chain Whirler. So maybe I'm supposed to just chump the knight and hope to find a Chain Whirler. 5, 6, 7, yeah. I think that's actually just correct. Saves us a bunch of life. Okay. Alright. Well, the good news is that I feel white aggro decks are generally pretty good matchups for red. I'm going to board in the fiery cannonades. And that might be it. Treasure map is okay, but we have Frenzy for the late game already. Don't know how many tribunals our opponent might be on. The burn is generally good in this matchup. I think I'm gonna cut some fanatical firebrands. The pyromancer and the lava runners are also cuttable, but we need to make sure we keep some creatures in our deck. I'm gonna try this. Yeah, this is fine. We actually have a 7 we can keep. Lava Runner into Pyromancer. Like this is just a good draw for the deck. Even though we don't have cards that are great in this particular matchup, it's still exactly what we want. I think I'm fine with offering up this trade, considering we don't have a Chain Whirler at the moment. Alright, so Tide Taker, that kind of slows things down a bit. Like, we could just light up the stage and just pay 3 mana for it. I think that's the play. Our opponent just blocks this attack. That doesn't seem good for us. The question is, do we take this trade or not. I don't think so. Because we can potentially use this to attack and turn on Spectacle. Although since our opponent just played another Tide Taker, doesn't seem as doable. We can still Wizard's Lightning one of the Tide Takers. I still don't know that we want to trade off our Pyromancer for the other part of one. I'm just going to play the light up the stage. And Wizard's Lightning a Tide Taker. But I don't think I'm going to attack. Because we have the Cannonade. So what we can do is we can block this one. And then potentially set up this Fire Cannonade. So this is perfect. Perfect board to cannonade on. Okay. We can use both of these to get rid of the Marshal, which does not feel particularly good. I think I'm still going to do it. Frenzy is the card we're really, really hoping for. Oh. Oh. That is brutal. Maybe I should have boarded in, like, Fight with Fire or something. Obviously, I would for game 3 if I knew our opponent had Lyra in their deck. Wow, there's a Frenzy. That's the card we needed to try to get back in. Can we do it? Can we do it? That's the question. Huh. I think we may actually just want to point this at the Marshal. Like we can also save it. We have a few options. We can save it for next turn. We can try to spike a 3 damage removal right now. To get rid of the Lyra. I think it's close what to do with this Lightning Strike. Alright, I guess I'm going to try to get lucky and take out this Lyra. I'm going to get in there with the Chain Whirler. Luckily, our opponent didn't block there. I was very fortunate. Went into full control mode. I think they should have blocked, but they didn't. Which was perfect. And that might be a game-winning choice. Just gonna block the Tide Taker. I mean, I understand not wanting to block, But if you think about the fact that we have these spectacle cards in our deck, they are pretty important cards. So we have this Lightning Strike we can use. And so yeah, our opponent's just going to concede there. You saw the power of Experimental Frenzy, and we were very lucky to be able to get rid of the Lyra when we did. Yeah, Lyra is just... I mean, it's a house. It's a house. We need to board in Fight with Fire, I think. I'm going to go on a more controlling game plan. Boarding in all the lava coils. I'm going to take out the Wizard's Lightnings and some of the Wizards. And just go very, very controlling. Firebrand is okay. Banefire can deal with Lyra, but it's very expensive. I actually don't mind... I don't mind Treasure Map with this plan. I actually like it. So we're just going very, very controlling. Lots of burn, except no Wizard's Lightnings. So the late game should favor us, and if we're able to situate cards like Chain Whirler to be able to like get a nice advantage out of them, we'll be in a good situation. I think we just have to keep. It's just too high upside of a hand to mulligan. We do have Double Frenzy, which kind of sucks. And we could get run over, but if we feel pretty good if we just draw another land. I think it's one of our better draws. Unfortunately, we might end up in a spot where our opponent wants us to cannonade away our own creature. So, like, on that side of the coin, like, maybe we're supposed to consider blocking, but Steamkin is so good. Alright, that's fortunate that our opponent did not do anything else that turn. So I'm going to attack and light up the stage. Okay. So just going to pass with that Lightning Strike available to us. I don't see a reason why we would need to use it at this particular moment. Probably will just get rid of the Sky Marcher Aspirant, though. I guess maybe I should have done it end of turn in case our opponent had a Benelish Marshal to cast. But this board is favoring us for sure. Go with light up the stage. It's just such nice card advantage. All right. Well, we're set on lands for the moment. I think I'm just gonna pass. Like, we've got this fiery cannonade, which we can use. It's probably right to just use it. Make our opponent decide if they want to pay an addition. They probably do pay this additional 4 life, but at least we get rid of the life linker here. I think I want to fight with fire the Marshal. Well, the interesting thing about this spot is we're pretty close to being able to kicker this fight with fire, but we still cannot. And for that reason, I think I should just hardcast it. Get rid of the Marshal, hit for 4, and then light up the stage again, but this time I'm going to use the Steamkin for mana. And then we can potentially also play Frenzy this turn if we want to. Although there's a Chain Whirler, so I think we want to cast that instead. We don't have to play the Frenzy too quickly. This also puts our opponent on a decision whether or not to keep that Adanto Vanguard in play or not. So they went with let it go to the graveyard. Now we have this Lava Coil. So we need 1 more point to get rid of the Lyra. But we drew a second Steamkin, which is I think is really good because we can play a Frenzy this turn and just have a bunch of mana potentially. So let's see. We play this, make 3 mana. Let's see how this goes. Not going to play a land in case we have a land on top of our deck. Okay, Fanatical Firebrand. Now I wish I had played a land, but let's see where this goes. Okay, so yeah, that can happen. I now wish I had played a land, but we could have just as easily had a land on top there. So yeah, sometimes hindsight's 20/20. We're just gonna. I think we're still favored. I'm gonna make sure to put that upkeep stop, even after taking this big hit from Lyra. And I think the plan is just going upstairs with this Lightning Strike. Let's see. So if we can also just get rid of the Knight. That's 12 damage. If we go upstairs, this can potentially chump. But then if we draw a Chain Whirler, it would be lethal. So this would... Yeah, we're gonna try to win this turn. I'm gonna go upstairs with this Lightning Strike. Okay, Fiery Cannonade on top. That may actually just be lethal. So I can... Yeah, I think that's lethal. Assuming our opponent has nothing. All right. We were able to grind them out with our Experimental Frenzy. Alright, this seems pretty decent. I think we can keep it. Hopefully these chain whirlers are just going to be very good. I guess we're against control though. So the hand is a bit slow. It's on the slow side. No longer in love with our situation. Wow, they're putting a Moment of Craving into the graveyard. That could mean that they are light on lands, or that their hand is just really, really good. So I'm very scared to see that they have more lands in hand. Well, I'm going to play this Fanatical Firebrand and attack with both. And then we're going to see if our opponent... yeah, if they use a removal spell, we just have to play this other Chain Whirler. Our hand... I mean, there's not a ton going on. If we get Kaya's Wrath, we're just going to have to hope to peel Experimental Frenzy or something. Really not much to be gained by just using these two burn spells at this particular moment, I don't think. I guess end of turn I could Wizard's Lightning because our opponent does know about it. Alright. I assume that's not going to live, but we'll cast it. Alright. Well, we have double shock. So Cry alone is not actually enough. And this was one of the reasons we held on to some of our burn spells. Okay. Still hoping to draw like Frenzy specifically would be excellent. Come on, Frenzy. I don't think our opponent had a counter before now, but...
I faced undead horrors. This is you. Now it's dearly departed. How did you do that?
Yeah, we are very... I think one more draw step. One more shot at it. Alright. Time for our sideboard plan to kick into gear. We're going to board in our Lightning Mares, and our Daredevil, and our Treasure Maps, and our Banefire. So we're boarding in, you know, quite a few cards. And I'm going to take out some of the burn that just isn't that exciting. Shock, really not that great in this matchup. Also, Fanatical is not great either. Neither are the lightning strike type cards. So I'm gonna shave one Firebrand and then cut. Actually, I'm gonna shave two Firebrands and shave one lightning strike. We accept it. We're on the play with we actually have early pressure. So it's really gonna put, you know, put the action back on our opponent. I mean, that duress doesn't do a whole lot considering they shocked in order to cast it. If we draw another land, that'd be nice. Although, okay. We may just have to hope our opponent doesn't have a sweeper. Yeah, I just don't see a way around it. We're playing this Runaway Steamkin. We can't cast the Wizard's Lightning. And we need the pressure. If we get Cry of the Carnarium, it's brutal. Brutal. If it's Kaya's Wrath, we at least have another draw. And I'm gonna go ahead and just play this now. Okay. Alright, let's hope for no Wrath. Okay, no Wrath. I accept that. Not a bad pickup. Interesting the amount of cast downs our opponent has in their deck. They kept the card very quickly on top, which means that there's a good chance that it's a removal spell that gains our opponent life, or a Wrath. Some type of removal spell. Yeah. Well, there it is. Okay. Game number 3. Game number 3. Our opponent does seem to have a lot of removal. So maybe we just want as many creatures as possible. Because we need a creature. We need to have at least 1 or 2 creatures in play to have that pressure. Got cast downs and Moment of Cravings. We saw those. So we're gonna get in there. We got a creature dense hand. The Steamkin is probably gonna die, but we still have to play it. And it did die, as expected. Just gonna play 2 more creatures, I think. I mean, it does play into potential sweeper. But we don't know that our opponent has one. Alright, so they didn't play a sweeper, so they don't have a sweeper right now. I think I'm gonna play... I'm gonna play out these, the Pyromancer and the Wizard's Lightning. That makes the Steamkin into a 4/4. Alright. So they're using their Mortify, which means that that's actually potentially good for us. Because we have this Frenzy in our hand. Well, did not know we'd draw another Frenzy, but certainly going to cast this one that we have. Once again, that Lyra Dawnbringer seems to be a popular sideboard card against mono red. Don't blame our opponent for selecting that one out of their sideboard. That being said, they kind of still need to answer the Frenzy. I mean, they don't need to, but it depends how well we run off of it. So we'll see. I'm pretty interested to see what happens here. All right. Unfortunately, we don't... Yeah, that could be bad news. The treasure map, we don't actually really want to use it. We just want to play out the Lava Runner, I think. We're still gambling that our opponent doesn't draw a Kaya's Wrath. But if they do, I guess they have to get rid of their own Lyra. So maybe Kaya's Wrath is just not part of... Oh. Well, that is just absurd. That really hurts. Cry of the Carnarium, huh? Alright, let's go ahead and cast this. Well, we found a Banefire on top of our deck. So I guess we can cast that next turn to get rid of Lyra.
Pretty smart right now.
Yeah, this is a pretty weird spot. we would need to... In order to cast that, we actually would need to destroy the frenzy. So maybe I was supposed to just scry it to the bottom? Oh, this is weird. This is a weird situation. But it's a possible that our opponent just plays this, like, plays something to get rid of the frenzy. This is so awkward. Well, I can't help but wonder if there's a way I could have done this better. If we had scryed it to the bottom last turn, we would have just had this frenzy on top of our deck. I guess I should have scryed that. I should have scryed that frenzy to the bottom with the map. That was bad. I don't think we're winning this anyways. I'm just going to concede. So many Lyras. So many Lyras. I think our sideboard plan in this matchup is a bit vulnerable to Lyra because we're taking out a lot of our burn. So it's just not that easy to actually get the Angel off the battlefield, and sometimes Banefire is kind of awkward with a frenzy in play if it's on top of your deck at the wrong time. But it was really that Cry of the Carnarium that our opponent found that got rid of like at least 4 of our dudes. This is like very, very medium, like borderline hand. But we're on the play with it. So, yeah, I think it's worthy of a keep. Basically, any spell is good and any land is bad. Who would have thought it? There's a spell. That's a good one. We're definitely... I mean, our first few turns have gone well. Now we just need a little bit more punch to get over the hump. Like, this could be a... Oh, no. It is a Chain Whirler. Yikes. Well, that was absurd. Don't think we were supposed to play around that, but that was just gross. That was gross. Where's our frenzy? We can't even, like, get rid of the Spellbreaker with block plus shock. So we are in a really rough spot. I'm just gonna take it. Hope to draw something. Probably just get rid of this. Alright. But let's go to game 2. Definitely want our place at a lava coils. That's the easy card to bring in. I also like Fight with Fire. Treasure map can be good. But we have the 4 frenzies, which are real nice. I'm going to take out the Fanaticals. Not really a fan of those here. There's not too many 1 toughness creatures our opponent has. And then I think we can shave on Pyromancer because it's bad against Chain Whirler. Yeah, map is okay. I think I will board in 2 maps. Like, you need a frenzy or a map. You don't really need both necessarily, but you do need one or the other. This hand doesn't have either, but it is just a good hand with a light. So I don't know that we want a light right now. In fact, I'm not going to. One of the downsides to light up the staging on turn 2 is if you do find a frenzy, you can't play it. So if we light next turn, we can then, like, we're in a better spot. Plus, we can now just burn this harpooner. I'm not sure which of these we're actually supposed to use on it. I guess I'll go with the strike, but yeah, not confident on that decision. So I'm gonna Chain Whirler now. Like, there's not that many 3/3s in the deck. It's almost like 2 toughness or 4 toughness. Or, like, there's Rekindling Phoenixes, but anyway, so they got rid of that, which is actually fine. I think we want to now just start getting aggressive. So we're just gonna start dumping our hand. Okay. So if we draw a mountain, we can cast both of these, which would be sweet. I think we're just in a nice spot. I said we needed frenzy or map, but this game might be proving me wrong. Like, so we can get rid of this Phoenix completely and put ourselves in a really, really good spot. So that was just kind of the perfect sequence. Nice aggression. There's a Spellbreaker, so you know, that's, I feel like the damage may have already been done. We'll see. We did draw a complete brick there. So if our opponent had, like, a shock, that would be brutal, because they could get rid of a, like, shock blows us out there. But I think we're still supposed to just attack and lose to shock. Like, the prospect of getting in the 4 damage is so good. Wow, our opponent has Domri in their deck on the draw. Not sure about that decision. We'll see what happens here. Okay, so yeah, we're in a great spot. That actually does it. All right. So things worked out there in that particular game. Don't think I'm gonna change anything. Actually, maybe should have brought in the Daredevil. Not, although we didn't see that much burn from our opponent, but it's pretty decent if they have like lava coils and stuff like that. Ugh. Don't think we can. We cannot keep that. Have to keep this one. Yeah, we've just been mulliganing a ton. A lot. And the hand is good if we... I mean, the hand is very playable if we just draw basic land mountain. Alright. I think we just have to get rid of that. It's just too good. Just too good. Once we let it get going. I wish we were getting rid of it with like a shock. But Lava Coil is the burn spell that we drew. So that's completely fine. We don't care that much about the Lava Runner, although it would have been nice to have that wizard in play for our Wizard's Lightning. We may want to upkeep activates. I think I'm gonna go for it. Try to hit that mountain. Got there. So we get to Lava Coil that Phoenix. See what's left. Hoping for no whammies this turn. No whammies, no whammies. That's kind of a whammy. It's pretty good. Probably should have thought more about whether I wanted to have a stop there on upkeep, but I think taking the draw step was fine. So playing the Steamkin allows us to activate the map. I'm gonna do it even though our opponent could have a Chain Whirler. It's one of the vulnerabilities to putting one toughness creatures in our deck. Uh-oh. Yep. Well, that sucks. That sucks. Sigh. Alright. We'll keep the fight with fire. And probably just get rid of the Spellbreaker. I think I'm just taking a draw. Because I don't actually know what I want off the scry. This is pretty good. I'm just gonna use it now in case of Collision Colossus. We get to transform our map. So actually, even though we got blown out a little bit, we have the Frenzy. I think that's a bottom. So yeah, even though we got blown out a little bit by that copy of Goblin Chainwhirler, now we've got this Frenzy, which we can get going. I think I'm just gonna cast it. Question is whether to play the mountain first or not. Don't think so. Yeah. Well, definitely not if we knew if you know that mountain's on top. So these two cards we may not actually use, and if that's the case, that's perfectly fine. Alright, so we can use the Treasure Cove to draw that Frenzy. And that allows us to have another look at our top card, which happens to be a Light Up the Stage, which is pretty good. So we can just play out the Chainwhirler. It would mean sacrificing these two treasures to do it. Don't think that's worth it. Because we, like, having these treasures around is fairly valuable. But it looks like our opponent's just kind of flooding out a little bit. So I don't think we're losing this one. They would need some bigger creatures that don't seem to be appearing. I guess we'll just take this out now. Okay. Well, that was the reason to do this now, in case we wanted to actually shock the goblin, which we do now. We do want to. Wasn't sure our opponent would actually have the card Collision Colossus in their deck, but this is the power level of Experimental Frenzy on full display at the moment. We're just really doing it all. Can even cast this additional Light Up the Stage. I think I will do that. Can even cast the Gitu Lava Runner. Maybe should have... Well, anyways, yeah. I'm going to cast that. Put an upkeep stop. What did we exile there? I played a mountain, didn't I? I hope I didn't forget to play a land, which I might have. I can't actually remember. Okay, so yeah, that was Frenzy doing its thing, and as I mentioned, Frenzy in this matchup is just completely insane. If you get it going on any sort of close-ish board, then you're gonna win. There's no Lyras in Gruul, luckily. No Lyras. Okay, new matchup. I'm gonna keep this. I think we just get rid of that now. Our opponent took 2 damage to get it into play, which usually indicates that the mana is pretty valuable. I've been surprised how often Viashino Pyromancer is the card that gets taken with Thought Erasure, but it happens a lot. It's just a very, very powerful turn 2 play in this red deck. Yikes. That's bad news. We actually didn't really want that Explorer to find lands like that. Like we could Wizard's Lightning this, but then we've just like dumped our entire hand. I guess we still do it. Just hope that our opponent is very flooded, which they probably are not, but gotta try. Get the damage in. Like if they don't have another play here. Alright, well, guess we need to draw. Needed to draw something that we do not have. This, even though it looks good, I think that was a bad block because we could have had Chain Whirler. And if we have Chain Whirler, we actually get rid of that, so. So that's why I like the attack. The block is questionable, although it looks good now. Alright, we need, like, Frenzy into something. This feels like a Krasis, yep. At least we were able to see a decent amount of our opponent's deck. Alright, well, after sideboard, we definitely want the treasure maps. That's going to be our best card in our sideboard. The lava coils are interesting. Don't necessarily think we want them, though. I'm just going to board in the 3 copies of treasure map. Take out some shocks. Not a huge change, but the maps allow us to grind out a little bit more, have a little bit better late game. Yikes. Another mulligan. This is fine. So we can go Fanatical into Pyromancer into something, so yeah, we're gonna top that. I don't like to light up the stage here. We want to get our creatures on the board first. It does mean that if our opponent has Thought Erasure, they can potentially take away that light up the stage. So that may be what's happening here. Yep. It's gone. Really not much value in hiding that. We're one mountain away from our Frenzy. Holding on to the strike in case of Thief of Sanity here. But if our opponent doesn't play anything, we may just want to go ahead and use it. Yeah. I think I'm going to go for it. Alright. Frenzy time. Hopefully our opponent cannot answer it. It would have to pretty much be Assassin's Trophy or like Brontodon. Now Vivian Reed becomes a possibility. Wow. That's kind of absurd. I guess that works. If they get rid of the Frenzy, we are done for. Yeah, we're pretty done. I assume our opponent... Yeah.
Sometimes restoration means retribution.
I mean, it was a little bit unlucky to hit.
Can't stop me.
We hit two mountains there. Off the Frenzy. Alright. Well, that is going to do it for this set. I wish I had won a little bit more, I'll be honest with you, but we took a lot of mulligans, and sometimes that's just what happens with the red deck. The sideboarding games, like our opponents definitely came prepared, and yeah, anyways, take what you will from those games. I still really like mono red. I've been playing a ton with it, so if you are a red player, I still would recommend it.